Well, after a year in which we weren't able to do this, it's great that we've come back now. And a program that started over 20 years ago, which was one of our first community recognition programs, and that was Teacher of the Year. It started because we had a number of active teachers at the time, as well as retired teachers in the club. And the president of the club at that time was a retired Nashua teacher, Barbara Whitmore. And ever since then, it's gone on. And over the 20 plus years, it's been spread around pretty well between the public schools, the two high schools, a couple of elementary schools. Bishop Girton has been in 2 or 3 times. And the way it works is pretty simple. Anyone can nominate any teacher in a Nashua public or private school. You don't have to work with them. You may have had a child that had them for a teacher, and that's how it works. But given that we weren't able to gather last year, we felt it was important to recognize all of the teacher community in Nashua in the public and private schools because of what they have had to deal with since the pandemic began. And each school, the faculty and the staffs have performed admirably, and we're pleased to recognize some representatives who are here with us tonight representing their institutions. Karen Stone is representing World Academy. She's a 2nd grade teacher there. She's been with them for 24 years, and she'll be retiring at the end of the school year. So Karen, would you please come up and accept the certificate of appreciation? Thank you. Not to be outdone, Bruce Miller is representing Bishop Girton High School. Bruce is the science department chair, and he's the longest tenured teacher at BG, 38 years. And he tells me they've asked him back next year. According to what Principal Justin told me, during this past year, Bruce was an integral part of their COVID-19 response. And on behalf of the National Alliance, we'd like you to accept this on behalf of Bishop Girton, Bruce. And last and certainly not least, representing the Nashua Teachers Union is Deb Howes, their vice president. I kidded Deb at the beginning that President Adam Marcoux was invited. He knew about it. He didn't want to come because Elaine had him as a student, and I know a lot of stories about Adam, so he figured sending Deb, he'd be safe. So please accept this for all your teachers, Deb. And we just ask that the 3 recipients wait around after the meeting so we get a more formal picture. We had also invited St. Christopher's Academy, Nashua Christian Academy, and the Micro Academy, and they were unable to join us, and we'll make sure they get their certificates. Living in Nashua all of our lives, even though we currently sleep in Merrimack, but I still consider Nashua home. We've have had an opportunity to see or know many of the teachers that have been selected over the years, and they're done by an independent committee outside of the club that does it similar to what we do with the scholarships, redact the names and put it out there. I remember this teacher of the year, back when I was doing games. He was a very tenacious basketball player. Some might say he was out of control when he was out on the court. But he comes from a family of educators, his dad, his mom, and perhaps the most notable member of the family, his uncle Stanley Staunches, who served as principal at Nashua High School. But this nomination came in from, I guess she's a colleague, Natalie LaFlamme. And she's asked that we consider the nomination of Gary Staunches for Teacher of the Year. He's taught in Nashua for 29 years. He's a fun-loving, caring teacher who is the favorite of many students. Both my daughters had him as their language arts teacher at Pennachuck Middle School, and both consider him one of their favorite teachers. They're now college graduates and have had many teachers since 8th grade, and yet he stands out still to them. Recently, Mr. Staunches moved from Pennachuck Middle School to Fairgrounds and is now my teammate. It has been energizing working with him over the past 2 years. He's a team player. His decisions are based on what is best for the students. He has the rare ability to get middle schoolers to write thoughtfully and deeply while still being their favorite teacher. Students love his class because he is a riveting storyteller and because they know that he truly cares about them. They love how he makes up nicknames for them. A girl named Haley becomes Van Haley, and a boy with the last name of Gonzalez becomes Gonzo. The students love it so much that they carry their nicknames into their classes. I've had the pleasure of teaching with many amazing teachers, and Mr. Stanchis definitely rates among the best. He knows how to push students beyond their expectations while developing lasting relationships that students hold in their hearts into adulthood. Mr. Stanchis just doesn't teach English language arts. Through his stories and his feedback, he teaches middle school students how to think, how to cope, how to thrive, how to reach out, how to overcome, and how to celebrate. I hope that you will recognize Mr. Stanchis as the gifted and talented teacher that he is. He deserves the honor of being named Teacher of the Year, and it's my joy to nominate him. We had experience with Mr. Stanchis with our oldest daughter. In fact, when we told Sarah he was the selectee, she said, "Oh, I remember you used to throw tennis balls in class." Well, I'm happy to report to you he still does. And apparently last week he missed the person, but not the fire alarm. But fortunately, up till now, they were able to use the constructionist fairgrounds as the reason the alarm went off. But Chief, you got that? Assistant Chief Buxton will talk to you later. But seriously, Gary, you are a credit to your family and to the Nashua School District and to all educators everywhere. And it is our honor to recognize you tonight with the Teacher of the Year for 2021. And if you'd come up, our president would like to present you with some gifts in that honor.
Do you want to explain
Yes.
the coin?
The first item is the annual Crystal Apple, which the club gave. And the club also felt that it was appropriate this year, and we purchased several of the Krista McAuliffe silver dollars to present to our Teacher of the Year as well. So, and last but not least, and now Dee, pay very close attention. We're giving you a check for $200 for you, not to use on school supplies, for you and your wife to enjoy yourselves on us.
Thank you very
and
much.
thank you very much. Congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
Here's the letter. Please, it's all yours.
Thank you. I don't know if you saw my esteemed assistant principal working on his phone, but he was texting everybody in sight that I was going to be filmed and on TV. So I believe all our friends are watching because of Mr. Arbogast. But you know what? You can't do good things in a school unless you have a good administration. And this administration, I haven't seen anything like them in over a dozen years. And I remember my dad always saying, good administrators fill in the potholes, they don't make them deeper. And these folks fill in the potholes, so it's a nice, smooth ride. When I first started teaching, there were 5 people with my last name. And now I'm the only one. And in all honesty, the person I want to dedicate this to is the one person who isn't with us anymore, and that's my mom, who got me through some important times as a teacher and really was just a rock for me for so long. So, and my wife Dee, who also had to deal with the ups and downs of coming home some days just tied in knots, and she was always so calm and always so positive and just always led me in the right direction. And obviously my colleagues, Natalie, and all the really important people I've worked with that just set the bar so high, especially during these times where we worked so hard, I think twice as hard, just reinventing the wheel this year, sometimes feeling like we get half the results. It's disheartening sometimes, but we keep each other up, we keep each other happy, laughing, and and we keep working for the kids. So I want to thank you all, and I'll leave it at that.
Thank you, Gary, for all you do for the Nashua School District and for the students. As a product of the Nashua school system, it's teachers like you that really make an impact. So thank you for all you do. And with that, unless anybody has anything else for the good of the order, does anybody want to make a motion to end the meeting? Do we have a second? All those in favor? All those opposed? All right, great, guys. Thank you so much.
The 2021 Nashua Lions Teacher of the Year, Gary Stanchis of Fairgrounds Middle School. He's been almost 30 years in the Nashua school system.
Yep.
I knew you when your hair was a little darker.
Yeah.
And
A little thinner.
You've gone from Pennachuck to Fairgrounds recently. And what was the reason behind that move?
I needed a change. It was, a lot of years at the same place, and you start getting stale after a while. And my buddy Jeff over there, he's been a friend of mine, and I know he's a fantastic administrator, so I decided to give it a new start. It's been great.
When did you know you wanted to go into teaching? Not that there was any pressure on you at all, Gary.
There was a lot of pressure. My mom was always pressuring me, saying, you could be made for this. I'm like, there's no way. But I tried out a bunch of other jobs and then finally fell into it. Went to Riv over here and got my master's degree. And, it's the best. I do it all over again.
You would?
I would. Yep, without a doubt.
Did you feel, other than Mom's encouragement, pressure because of the other family members?
They were a huge act to follow. So I had to be at the top of my game from minute one. And everything I did, I felt like it was in the shadow of everything they accomplished. So, without a doubt.
Obviously, this last 18 months has been challenging for any educator. What are some of the challenges you faced, and how did you get over those hurdles?
The main challenge is just trying to reinvent the wheel. Everything changed so much. And then trying to keep positive with the kids, because it's easy to get frustrated at them and take it out on them. But just the whole learning process of all this was just unbelievable. We had 3 seismic changes basically this year that we had to go through. And as hard as it was on us, it was harder on the kids. And again, I can't believe how well my administration handled everything, because again, they just paved the way for us and we were able to kind of do our own thing. So.
And in the middle of all this, the school is going through a huge renovation, and that's also caused some challenges. In fact, you're currently in a portable.
I am. I got moved out to the portable, but I'm not alone. There's 3 other people, and it is what it is. We work through it, and everybody does their jobs, and it's an incredibly positive school.
Somebody watching or listening to this today, thinking about going into teaching. What words of advice do you have for them?
The words, probably the best one would be that you're going to be, so many things are going to be thrown at you. The second you master your game, you're going to have all these changes coming through. They're going to frustrate you, but always learn something from everything that comes through. Pull something out. Don't just turn your back on all the new policies coming through and all the new educational formats. Learn something, absorb it, make it a part of what you do, but don't lose your passion.
Gary, congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Gary Stanchis, the 2021 Nashua Lions Club Teacher of the Year.